Search is everywhere. The question is, are you showing up? This is Search as a Channel.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We're really thrilled to have you here with us.
Absolutely. It's great to be here.
So today, our mission is to unpack this massive, just fundamental shift that's happening right now on the screen of your smartphone.
Yeah, it's a big one.
To do this, we're pulling from two really fascinating sources. First, we've got a major Google keyword blog post from March 12, 2026.
Right.
And that details the brand new integration of Gemini AI models directly into Google Maps. And second, we have this strategic marketing analysis that breaks down exactly how this update is, well, it's completely rewriting the laws of local search.
Totally. The sheer scale of this change really cannot be overstated. I mean, we aren't just talking about a software update here.
No, definitely not.
We are talking about fundamentally altering the relationship between human intent, artificial intelligence, and physical geography.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Let's ground this with an analogy for you listening. Think about the old era of Google Maps, like the one we all grew up with.
Right, the classic blue dot.
Exactly. It was basically this trusty, highly accurate, but totally silent paper map. I mean, it points out where things are. It gives you the fastest route.
That's kind of it.
Right. If you want to know if the vibe of a restaurant is actually right for, say, a first date, you're on your own. You have to do all that research yourself.
You're opening 5 different tabs just to figure it out.
Exactly. But this new Gemini-powered maps, it's like having a hyperlocal tour guide sitting right there in the passenger seat with you.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, like a guide who knows your exact personal preferences, remembers where you've been, and somehow just knows the current real-time vibe of every single spot in town.
That image of the tour guide in the passenger seat, that perfectly captures the transition we're seeing, because we are moving away from traditional search and really entering an era of conversation.
And whether you, the listener, are just trying to find a quiet place to charge your dying phone without waiting in a massive line.
Which is a daily struggle, let's be honest.
Oh, totally. Or maybe you're a local business owner trying to survive in a crowded market. Either way, this shift changes the digital rulebook entirely.
It really does.
So let's look at what is actually happening on the screen right now. We had to start with the consumer side. Google is rolling out a feature called Ask Maps alongside immersive navigation.
Right, and that's currently hitting devices in the US and India on both iOS and Android.
Okay, so the core difference with Ask Maps is the input mechanism, right?
Exactly. Users are moving away from typing those disjointed keywords like, coffee shop near me.
Right.
Instead, they're starting to ask layered, really complex, highly specific questions.
The sources give some incredibly specific examples of this. Like, imagine your phone is at 2%. In the old days, you'd search coffee shop, you'd tap on 3 different places.
Scroll through blurry user photos, hoping to spot a wall outlet.
Yes, and try to guess the crowd level based on the time of day. But now you literally just ask the map, my phone is dying, where can I charge it without having to wait in a long line for coffee?
It's wild. Or consider wanting to play a sport after work. Instead of just searching the broad term parks, you can literally ask, is there a public tennis court with lights on that I can play at tonight?
And the map is just doing all that cross-referencing for you.
Yeah.
It's checking what constitutes a tennis court, what has lighting infrastructure, and what the operating hours are, all simultaneously.
Yeah.
But wait, how is it actually doing that? How does a map know about the line at a coffee shop or the lights at a random park?
Well, that is where the integration of the Gemini large language model really comes in. It's synthesizing an unimaginable amount of unstructured data on the back end.
Okay.
It's pulling from over 300 million places, but more importantly, it's processing the text of reviews, user photos, and insights from a community of more than 500 million contributors.
Wow, 500 million.
Yeah, it's massive. So the AI isn't just reading a structured directory anymore, it's actually extracting semantic meaning from natural language.
What does that mean in practice, though?
So if 3 different people complained in a review 2 years ago that the glare from the tennis court lights was annoying, the AI flagged that location as having lights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's turning qualitative human experiences into quantifiable data points.
That's fascinating. And it gets even more personal than that. There's an example in our sources about planning a dinner.
Right, the Midtown East one.
Yeah. You tell the map, my friends are coming from Midtown East to meet me after work. any spots with a cozy aesthetic, and a table for 4 at 7 tonight.
And Ask Maps doesn't just scan for the keyword cozy.
No, it looks at your past searches and your saved places. It recognizes you prefer vegan food, calculates a geographic midway point between your current location and Midtown East.
Which is incredibly helpful.
Right. And then it finds a cozy spot with vegan options that typically has availability for 4 people at 7 p.m.
The AI is basically acting as the ultimate filter, anticipating your needs based on historical context. And this intelligence, it actually extends to the driving experience too, with the immersive navigation update.
Which they said is the biggest navigation upgrade in over a decade, right?
Exactly. The driving experience looks completely different now. You aren't just following that flat blue line on a gray grid anymore.
Yeah, you're getting vividly detailed 3D views of the buildings around you.
It highlights specific lanes and crosswalks. It utilizes these smart zooms that pull back the camera angle to show you tricky multi-lane turns before you actually arrive at them.
Which is huge for anyone who hates driving in a new city. And the voice guidance has fundamentally changed too. It abandons those robotic, rigid distance markers like, in 500 feet, turn right.
Right. Instead, it speaks contextually. Using visual cues, just like a human passenger would, it will literally say, go past this exit and take the next one.
That sounds incredible for highway anxiety.
Totally.
It's also offering wild transparency around route trade-offs because it processes 5 million traffic updates every single second.
5 million a second. Let that sink in.
Right. It doesn't just silently reroute you anymore. It explains the why. It will tell you, hey, this alternate route is longer but has less traffic, or this one is faster but has a toll.
It even manages the final stretch of the drive. It highlights nearby parking lots, illuminates the specific building entrance you need, and tells you exactly which side of the street you need to be on as you arrive.
Okay, but hold on. Let's really look at this. Let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure.
Isn't this just saving us a couple of extra clicks on a traditional search? I mean, I could have found that vegan restaurant eventually. I could have found the parking lot by zooming in on the map. What makes this a fundamental structural shift rather than just like a really nice user experience update?
I get why you'd ask that. It feels like a mere convenience on the surface, but it is actually an architectural redesign of how we discover the physical world.
How so?
It's not about saving clicks. It's about compressing the entire discovery, evaluation, and action phases into a single conversational interface.
Okay, so if we think about the old process, you discover a place on a search engine, you evaluate it by reading reviews on a completely different app.
Yep.
You check its hours on another tab, and then you take action by routing to it on your map.
Exactly. You, the human, were the bridge between all those disparate pieces of data. With Ask Maps, the user no longer has to manually cross-reference anything.
The AI just does the evaluating and synthesizing in the background.
Right. And it only presents the highly qualified finalists.
Which means the AI is making the decisions for me. Or at least narrowing the field so drastically that I never even see the runners-up.
Yes.
So if the map is doing all this filtering in the background, what happens to the restaurants or the stores that don't make the cut?
That compression leads directly to the core of the strategic marketing analysis we're reviewing today. This incredible convenience for the user is precisely what breaks the old internet rule book of local search for businesses.
Because they can't rely on the old tricks anymore.
Exactly. The analysis makes a really bold claim. Local search has permanently moved from query matching to dialogue-driven recommendation.
Query matching being the old search engine playbook. Like, the old way of doing local search was essentially just the modern version of the Yellow Pages.
That's a perfect analogy.
You listed your business under a static known category. You are an Italian restaurant or a plumber. And if someone searched Italian restaurant near me, you just hoped your digital presence matched that query well enough to show up on the list. We all know how that works.
Right. The old unit of competition was ranking for those static categories. But Ask Maps changes the unit of competition entirely.
Okay, so what's the new unit?
The new question is, can Google's AI understand your business well enough to insert it into a fluid conversation?
Wow. So the model isn't the Yellow Pages anymore. It's more like a matchmaking service.
Yes, exactly.
You don't just say, I am a man looking for a woman. You say, I am looking for an adventurous extrovert who loves hiking and independent cinema. The user isn't asking the map for an Italian restaurant. They're asking for a date night Italian spot with outdoor seating that isn't too loud.
And this raises what is perhaps the most critical insight from our sources. In this new era, the brand that is easiest for the AI to interpret will often beat the brand with the better website.
Easiest to interpret beats the better website. That is a massive paradigm shift.
It is, because discovery is now contextual and dynamic rather than dependent on exact keyword phrasing.
Right.
If Google's Gemini model understands your ambiance, your service model, your exact inventory, and your use cases better than your competitor, you win the AI's recommendation before a traditional click ever happens.
Which brings us to a concept the source calls state-based marketing, which feels like the nail in the coffin for the traditional marketing funnel.
Oh, absolutely.
We've always thought about awareness, consideration, and conversion as this linear path.
But the funnel assumes people move through predictable stages over time. State-based marketing recognizes that consumers move fluidly through research and comparison within a single temporal dialog box.
A state being a temporary, highly specific human condition or need.
Exactly.
The paradox here is brilliant, honestly. The old keyword playbook actually gets weaker right at the exact moment the purchase intent gets stronger.
Yes. Explain that a bit more for the listeners.
Well, think about shoes. If someone searches a broad keyword like shoes, their purchase intent is relatively low. They're browsing. But if they ask the map a highly specific state-based question like, where can I buy size 10 men's waterproof running shoes near me right now?
Their purchase intent is massive.
Huge. Traditional keyword targeting struggles with that level of specific momentary context. But the AI thrives on it. It parses the real-time inventory, the location, and the product specifications instantly.
Which leaves local business owners and marketers in a really challenging position. If simply being relevant to a category is now, as the source says, necessary but insufficient, how do you adapt to this era of dialogue readiness?
That's the million-dollar question for anyone listening who owns a business. If I have limited time, how do I actually force an AI to understand my vibe or my use case when I can't just stuff keywords onto a web page anymore?
Well, it requires a complete mental shift regarding your digital assets. It's about ensuring that the real-world moments that trigger discovery are reflected consistently everywhere. Let's look at business descriptions, for example.
Okay.
Historically, filling out your About Us section was just, digital hygiene.
Right. You write a paragraph about being a family-owned business since 1998, and then you literally never look at it again.
Exactly. But now, those descriptions are strategic infrastructure. In a conversational system, these fields are recommendation inputs. They shape how the AI model interprets the soul of your business.
The insight from the source that really gave me an aha moment was about customer reviews. We all know reviews are trust signals. You want 5 stars so people trust you. But the analysis argues they are no longer just trust signals.
They are experiential nuance.
Yes, experiential nuance.
This completely changes a marketer's job. When an AI processes a review that says, this coffee shop is great for remote work, or the dining room is perfect for toddlers, it is extracting semantic meaning about the physical space.
Right.
That review is pure gold. It gives the AI the exact parameters it needs to match the business to a specific user state.
It's so funny. Marketers used to just beg for 5 stars. Now they need to beg for highly specific situational stories like, please leave a review and mention how fast our business lunch service was.
Exactly. That situational context is everything. The sources emphasize that local content has to become situational. Brands need to build their assets around use cases.
So instead of a generic web page that just says our menu, you want content structured around a human state, like where to host a team lunch in Austin.
Because hosting a team lunch is the human state the user is asking the map to solve. And to help businesses operationalize this, the strategic analysis actually provides a practical 90-day framework for adapting.
Oh, that's super helpful. Let's break that down. It starts with auditing for recommendation clarity, right? Let's apply this to a hypothetical. Say I own a local bowling alley. Auditing for recommendation clarity means I have to look at my photos, my metadata, my website, and ask, would an AI system actually know when to recommend me? And to whom? Does the AI know if I'm a spot for serious league bowlers or a loud arcade for teenagers?
And if your profile just says bowling alley, the AI has no idea. So you have to move to the second step. Map your top local intent states. Don't stop at the service category. What are the real-world moments that trigger a customer to look for your bowling alley?
It's not just they want a bowl. The intent state might be, it's raining on a Saturday and I need an indoor activity for a last-minute kid's birthday party. Or I'm planning a corporate team-building event on a Tuesday afternoon. Those are 2 completely different states.
Once you map those states, the third step is you align your assets to them intentionally. If you want to capture that rainy Saturday birthday party state, your photos need to prominently feature the bumper lanes and the arcade.
Your FAQs need to specifically address whether you allow outside birthday cakes.
Yes. You are actively feeding the AI the situational data it craves to make a recommendation.
And once you've done all that work, the final step is you have to fundamentally change how you measure success. The framework notes we have to move beyond last-click reporting.
Right, because if the AI is the concierge, the user might never actually visit your website. The AI reads your perfectly optimized FAQ about birthday cakes, summarizes it, tells the user you are the best spot, and just hands them driving directions.
Your website effectively becomes a data repository for the AI rather than a destination for the consumer.
So your measurement models have to look at assisted discovery, direction requests, and location actions within the map itself. If you are only measuring website traffic, you'll think your marketing is failing, even as the AI sends a steady stream of highly qualified foot traffic right through your front door.
Wow. Okay, so pulling this all together, what we are witnessing with Google Maps integration of the Gemini AI model is really the transformation of local search into a conversational concierge.
Without a doubt.
It is taking that silent paper map and turning it into a hyper-intelligent guide that processes the physical world through the lens of your personal context.
It is overhauling the daily commute with immersive, predictive navigation, and more importantly, it's completely rewriting the fundamental rules of local business visibility. We have officially crossed the threshold from simple keyword matching into an era of contextual, dialogue-driven recommendation.
So the next time you, the listener, are out and about and you find yourself needing a highly specific type of place, maybe a quiet corner to read a book or a massive venue to watch a game with a group of 10 tries, having an actual conversation with your map, ask it a layered question and see how it interprets your state.
And for the creators, marketers, and business owners listening, the ultimate question posed by our sources today is this. Would Google know when to recommend your business if the customer never used your target keyword at all?
That's the real test.
If they don't type your industry category, do you still show up based purely on the context of what you offer? If the answer is unclear, well, you know exactly where your work begins.
Absolutely. But before we go, there is one final kind of provocative thought that struck me while reading through this analysis. Just something for you to ponder on your own.
Yeah.
We spent this time talking about how amazing this AI concierge is for convenience and how businesses can adapt to feed it the right data.
Yeah.
But if AI becomes the ultimate middleman between our human desires and the physical world, if Gemini is the gatekeeper, deciding which businesses even get mentioned in the conversation, what happens to the hidden gems? What happens to the brand new spot that opened yesterday, the place that hasn't yet built up enough reviews or experiential data for the AI to understand its vibe? If discovery becomes purely algorithmic, based on synthesizing past human experiences, how does the new or the unconventional ever break through? Will the simple joy of serendipity, just wandering down a street and stumbling upon a completely unknown, unoptimized place, will it even survive the age of the AI concierge? The tour guide in the passenger seat is undeniably helpful, but sometimes the absolute best adventures happen when you just turn off the engine, get out of the car, and see what you find entirely on your own.
Thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe.